If you've clicked on this video, potentially right now you're in some distress around a thought that you've had and wondering, what does that thought mean? Why did I have it? What if I'm manifesting bad things into my life by my thoughts? Maybe what I should do is reverse it and think something only positive. If you're doing this now and then, it may not be a huge deal in your life, but if that's interfering with your relationships or your school or your job, what you might be experiencing is something in the realm of obsessive-compulsive disorder. My name is Dr. Patrick McGrath. I'm a licensed psychologist and the Chief Clinical Officer at NOCD. I specialize in the treatment of OCD and related disorders. Now, you might say, OCD? No, that's just cleaning things or putting things in a certain order or checking your locks, but OCD has so many various types that occur. For those people who have those fears of negative things are going to occur because of you, because you didn't have a positive thought or because you allowed a negative thought to be there without doing something to neutralize it, that might be a sign of something that we call pure O, OCD. This idea of obsessions and compulsions that occur, but compulsions that probably aren't very behavioral, probably that you wouldn't see. Compulsions that would occur almost always mentally. Maybe if I see an airplane and I don't wish for them to have a safe flight, then if they crash, it's my fault. Or if I have a thought about not liking someone, then that means that I'm a bad person because only bad people think things like that. If that sounds like something that's similar to what you're experiencing, help is available. Now, I can't do therapy with you, but what I can do is give you an idea of what therapy or some of the therapy exercises that we may do would be like, so that it kind of demystifies the experience and hopefully motivates you to seek out help if it's something that you would actually need. We're going to spend some time in this video taking a look at what OCD is, what's the cycle that it follows. I'm also going to show you some things that you can potentially do right away to help yourself get through this experience, and then we'll give you some resources for getting help if it's necessary. I want to talk about the cycle that OCD takes. Typically, it starts with some kind of a trigger. It could be something that you read or something that you've heard, and it triggers in you an intrusive thought or image or urge. Now, that becomes an obsession. And when that obsession happens, right away leads you to want to do a compulsion. What is a compulsion? It's an act that we do behaviorally or mentally to seek some kind of immediate relief or neutralization of whatever that thought or image or urge is. And you might feel good for the moment, but that relief is often fleeting, unfortunately. And then you find yourself having to do it again and again. When we're thinking about the OCD cycle in relationship to pure O, it can be difficult to diagnose or even recognize because many people think of OCD as having behavioral compulsions, things you can actually see people doing. In this kind of situation, all the compulsions seem to be mental and they can be easily missed. So let's talk a little bit about what they are. There's rumination, just this consistent, constant thinking about this thing over and over and over and over again, hoping that we'll come to a result that says to us, now everything's fine and okay. There's thought replacement, the notion that if I have a bad thought, I must replace it with a good thought, or else I'm going to live my life under the realm of that bad thought and I've welcomed it into my life. There may be mental reviewing where I have to consistently and constantly wonder, why did I have that thought and what did it mean and did I want to have that thought and was it purposeful, and doubting everything about the intention that I might have had. It could even lead to self-punishment where I just beat myself up constantly about the fact that I have the thought, hoping that that will be the thing that will prevent it from ever happening again. And finally, there could even be distraction where I'm just going to be in places all the time that don't have any kind of cues to the thoughts that lead me to worry, did I bring some badness into my life or into the life of other people? If you're experiencing any of these kinds of things, any of these ways of obsessing, these could be compulsions. These might actually be ways that you're trying to neutralize obsessions. And what we're going to do next is really walk you through an example of what we might utilize in exposure and response prevention therapy for obsessive-compulsive disorder. Exposure and response prevention therapy would be the type of treatment that we would utilize for people who are afraid of bringing bad things into their life based on a thought that they have. It really involves two things. First, purposely being exposed to whatever that thought is, That's the obsession/exposure piece of the work we do. And then not doing the compulsion. And that's the response prevention piece of the work that we do. I'm going to give you an example of what treatment for this might actually look like and how we can use ERP to get rid of doing the rumination and the thought replacement, the mental reviewing, the self-punishment, and the distraction, and show people that they can live with a thought without having to do something to actually neutralize it. If it's okay with you, I would like to walk you through an example of what therapy for fears of manifesting bad things into your life might actually look like. And the good thing is that this is something that everybody watching this can do. So if you're ready, follow along with me. I want you to look up at the ceiling above you, and I want you to stare at it for the next 10 seconds. And in doing so, I want you to wish for that to fall on top of you and crush you. Let's all do it together. I'm still here. How about you? Don't fall for thought-action fusion, that thinking something is just as bad as doing something. So thinking the ceiling's going to collapse is going to actually be the reason why it collapses. Not true, but it's a trick that OCD pulls on you. Stay in this experience. Stay there until you can do that and it doesn't bother you anymore. That you no longer feel like you are going to be someone who's going to cause something bad happening, with the ceiling at least, by thinking about it. And when you get to a point after doing this exercise multiple times, which I would encourage you to do, and you realize, okay, I can't make a ceiling collapse by thinking about it, maybe then you start to spread it out to other things in your life that you have these types of intrusive thoughts as well. And you start to learn, OCD's done nothing but lie to me. I don't have to do what it says. If you're seeking out a therapist for help with what we've described, I want you to know a couple of things. Not all therapists are trained at diagnosing or treating obsessive-compulsive disorder. ERP is a highly specialized treatment, and so it's important for you to ask any therapist you're going to see some questions, such as, do you utilize exposure and response prevention therapy for OCD? How much of your practice is focused on anxiety and OCD-related disorders? You'll want to make sure the answers are, yes, I utilize ERP, and yes, I've treated a good deal of people who have anxiety and OCD, or I'm under the supervision or consultation of somebody who definitely is specialized in the treatment of OCD. There's several ways to find a qualified therapist that specializes in obsessive-compulsive disorder. The International OCD Foundation has a large directory, and so does NOCD. NOCD offers you live face-to-face therapy sessions online with a licensed therapist that specializes in treating people with OCD and related disorders, and about 2/3 of commercially insured Americans can pay for their NOCD therapy sessions using their health insurance benefits. You can get connected with a licensed OCD-trained therapist right on your phone or on the NOCD website by booking a free 15-minute call with the team. Between sessions, you can message your therapist, participate in peer-led support groups, and at any time use the NOCD platform's self-help functionality for support. We'll include a link in the description below, as well as resources from Healthline to help you with your intrusive thoughts around your pure O obsessive-compulsive disorder. And know this, you're not alone, and help is available.